That would have been a bummer. All right, we're recording that. Yeah, so as you're, man, I'm out of my element, you know what I mean?
When they said do as the Romans do, they didn't mean like lounge around all day.
Listen, did the Romans ever record one of their webinars? I don't think so. So I am doing. So
They wrote
yeah,
on walls.
that's true. They did write on a lot of walls. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so keep writing where you're coming in from. And I don't know if it's Al T or AI. I think it's Al. Al, thank you for telling me to record that. All right, so we've got people coming in Massachusetts, South Jersey, Iowa. We're international with Vancouver, British Columbia. I feel like Vancouver is like as little international as you can be. It's like right on the border, literally, and it's like pretty like close to American, but we're counting it as international there. All right.
Stefan begs to differ because Stefan just checked in from British Columbia, and he'll tell you that Cantonese and one of the Indian languages are the second and third language after French and English. Right, Stefan?
Is that true? Look at you with the trivia knowledge. While you guys are chiming in, awesome. We've got a lot of people coming in from California, Walnut Creek, and the San Francisco Bay Area. Waleed is here, so we've got a legend in the house. Yeah, Florida, Long Beach, Chicago. Love it. Keep it coming. Oh, I got to remember to let people in too. Jeez, I'm not a great multitasker, so this is, as you can see. But while you guys are chiming in with where you're coming from, let me just reintroduce, just in case you don't know, Ernesto Cullari and Barbara Wardell, who own Cullari and Wardell Marketing, and they are Texas representing. All right. And they are they recent podcast guests, which instantly makes them superstars, I think. But also just super knowledgeable. If you have not listened to their episode yet, you've got to listen to the episode. And while I'm ranting and introducing them, yes, keep telling us where you're joining from, but also get those questions. This is a live Q&A. We want to make sure you get your questions answered. All things marketing, all things geofencing. We're gonna jump in with you guys. No holds bar. I don't know. I'm kind of speaking for myself right now, but
We're in the Coliseum.
yeah, that's right. That's right. We're going straight gladiator style here. I am a stone's throw in Rome from the Colosseum right now. Awesome. Okay, guys, welcome. Thank you for coming on and doing this. And as always, you guys look stellar. How are you?
We are amazing.
Thank you, Jordan, for having us. We
Yes,
appreciate it.
We really do appreciate
And
it.
Barbara,
my
does look
gosh.
good.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't want to like single anybody out, but Barbara looks good and you're like,
I'm here.
You're there. But let's just be honest here.
Handbag.
If we're gonna if we're gonna put people in order, it's gonna be Barbara and then you and then me. So you still got me beat there. So well, guys, I'm super excited. Guys, get those questions in. These live Q&As are always a lot better if there are live questions. So get those in. I do have some questions that I have gotten since your podcasting or your podcast came in. So we'll start with some of those. And then the rest of you guys get those questions in. Thanks. Al is like the all-star of the day with the question coming in and telling me that I wasn't recording. So like, this is incredible.
Thank you.
Can we start here? I mean, let's just start from the basics here, because I know that some people are going to know this and some people aren't going to know this, but can you just give us an overview? What is geofencing?
Listening to this monitor.
Geofencing is the art of using satellites and GPS data to target people based on their location. So location is more indicative of consumer intent than than search terms and social media behavior, because location pretty much tells you if someone could actually be your customer or not, and that's particularly relevant in the laundry industry. But the great thing about geofencing is after we target a device or a person based on their location, we can then record a visit, and it's a satellite verified visit. So when they actually come to your laundromat, the satellite tells us.
Yeah, awesome. And that, I mean, that's what makes it super duper powerful in terms of marketing strategies. And what sets it apart from the other marketing strategies is that it is location based and not necessarily based on, you know, like you said, like the social media presence. It's not based on those types of things. So that makes it for a hyper local business like most laundromats are. Geofencing is probably the most powerful, I think, marketing tool that you potentially could have for your laundromat. I don't know. I was gonna say you might disagree with that. Maybe somebody in the chat disagrees with that, but you guys will probably agree with that because that's what you guys do.
Barbara and I always think, right, holistically, go with like, we don't think you should just do geofencing
at all. Google and all the other things. I think it's a good combination, even flyers. We always think old school plus technology. I think merging in together is the best way to go.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. I love that. And like you said, I mean, I think it's just it's such a powerful new tool. And I know you were even talking about, this is a good question that Mike brought in. So I know you were talking about on the podcast episode, you know, just even now, like geofencing is just evolving, you know, rapidly right now, and the capabilities are getting even more and more powerful. So real quick, I'm going to answer Al's question: square footage based on entire floor plan or usable square foot. So, you know, he's talking about, you know, when you see a square footage for a laundromat. So square footage is going to be based on the entire floor plan, just, you know, to answer that question there, and not the usable square footage. It's going to be the entire space. So behind the dryers, the bathrooms, everything there. Good question. Okay, so Mike B says, I'm very new to geofencing. Welcome. Everybody's very new to geofencing, just about. I'd say you have two of the foremost experts, in my humble opinion, on the subject because it's relatively new. I'm very new to geofencing, like the rest of us. Does the customer need to download an app? Do they need to log in or sign up with something for it to work? How exactly, you know, does it work?
So what we do is we set up a landing page that it will go through from when they see the ad to the landing page. And once that happens, well, basically it starts out that you have your geofence. We put a virtual fence around, and then we do ads. And once they look at the ad, it goes to the landing page. That's what they see, whether it's a Google map to show you where to go, or whether it's to sign up for something, for a service. Once that happens, we follow them for 30 days, and once they go into that establishment or into like the information on the landing page for like a pickup or delivery, then from there we track them for that amount of time. So I know where they go from before and after, but it's a landing page, to answer your question.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Yeah. So there's no app needed for either the person seeing the ad or for the laundromat owner. As Barbara said, we publish an ad. It could be on TMZ, Telemundo, New York Times. It could be at your local, you know, Sacramento newspaper or the Vancouver Times. When they see that ad, they click on it, they're brought to a landing page. They can sign up, like Barbara said, for pickup and delivery, or we put a Google map on there that leads them right to your door.
For self-serve.
Yep, but no app integration necessary. And in fact, that question leads back to the old days, why people gave up on geofencing, is because you needed a beacon or an app in order to track devices. But nowadays, we track a device. That device is anonymized, so we don't violate their privacy. And then when they show up at your place, we get a visit.
It's satellite verified. We have no control over that.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember in the early days, I had a beacon in my laundromat in the very, very early days there. So yeah, and it's totally different. So just for clarity's sake, the customer doesn't need anything on their phone specifically in order to geolocate them. And then what Barbara was saying is once they have entered in the fence, they're in the dog pound, so to speak, that they have basically been tagged, and they will see ads that will then lead them to a landing page on your website or whatever program you're using that advertises your service there.
And I would say the weather app is your friend. So that is one of the, there's an article that came out about 2 days ago about apps and people, opting out of location services. But thanks to all the weather apps out there, people are constantly actually opting in. So because of the weather apps, we're able to really track, I would say, greater than 90%, 97% of all devices.
And most people don't close their apps.
Just look at Barbara's phone.
They leave them open, so
Very true.
it's the ones I use most. I mean, we have over 200,000 apps that are available to us, so.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's a follow-up question to that, which is a good one. So do their location services need to be on their phone in order to pick them up?
So yes, their location services have to be on. So think about this. I live across the street from a deli, and Barbara's going to come. We're going to work in the office together. I go to my phone, and I keep forgetting the damn name of DJ's Deli in Asbury. But anyway, so people are turning on their location services more than you realize. And as I said, the track rate for us, trackable rate, is about 97%. So meaning we can track 97% of all devices that go into a location.
That's crazy to me. I mean, it's really wild. So, I mean, here's another follow-up question that comes with that. I mean, as people are starting to wrap their heads around like this, the potential of this, and are starting to think of different ways to apply it, a great question came up, which is, can you use geofencing to assess if a location is potentially profitable or not? Can you use it for research purposes like that?
Barbara's actually not pretending to be King Kong on top of a skyscraper. There's a little gnat in here. But, so we do.
Sure there is.
There's like floaters around here. Tell them about the foot traffic studies.
Okay,
That's what they were asking about.
Sorry, it was gonna land on my nose.
It's LSD, folks. I mean, come on.
Anyway, so we do a foot traffic study, which does your business where it is for the year. So we know where people go from your business until where they go after for about a year. So we pretty much know their behaviors around your business. And that's where we're tracking. So we want to know those behaviors, where they go, where they come from. And that's the beauty of the foot traffic study. That's what we do first before we even start the whole process of putting your ads out.
Yeah, so Barbara and I invested in a whole complete independent satellite system that allows us to, whether it's your competitor or your own store, we can draw a virtual fence around, and then we're able to measure all the devices that come in. And as Barbara said, we could figure out where your mobile trade area is, where your client works, where they live, where they live and where they work, where they path to, it's called pathing, where they come from a half hour before and a half hour after visiting your store. So it's very comprehensive, and because it's satellite based, we're able to go down to the street level and then identify buildings where a lot of your customers congregate. So for example, we can pinpoint apartment buildings or fitness centers or yoga studios. We're able to identify, or barber shops, wherever you're really deriving a lot of your customers from. And then we can go in and then send all those people ads to come to your place.
Yeah, incredible. And I mean, this is obviously a marketing tool for us, as business owners, but there's a lot of different things that you can utilize it for, including, researching what, sorry, I got to remember to admit people, including researching, competition, including researching potential profitability, including where your customers are coming from. We talked about that on the podcast, right? Where they're coming from, where they're going to after they leave your laundromat. so that you can target those areas too. I don't know if you want to say anything about that right
Did
now.
we say never buy another building, never buy another laundromat?
As you do a foot traffic study, because you really want to know where your customers are coming and going and whether or not that building is a good choice for you to start that business, that laundromat. You want to know that you're going to have that area. It may look like a good area, but it may not be. And it's very important to spend that money for that.
And even if so say you're opening up a new laundromat, you can take, whatever stores are also in that shopping center, or if it's standalone, we can look at other locations on that side of the highway. But any way you look at it, this kind of data is very important. I mean, Barbara's still in the market to buy 1, 2, or 3 laundromats, and she definitely would not. Actually, she was looking at one in South Jersey, and we did a foot traffic study on that just to see how valuable the business was. It was a little too small. Neither my hair nor her hair would fit into the place. We're holding out.
Let alone combined. Oh my goodness.
Seriously.
Yeah.
We could be like a hair club for people commercial. 'Cause she's got like these flowing locks. I mean, that's pretty.
I know.
Kissing up again.
I
I
mean,
want my laptop.
Everybody wants his
Barbara bought me a new laptop because my laptop died. So it'd be nice to get it. I'm sorry.
yeah, you've got you're in the hole here. You've got a debt to pay off. Lucky for you, it's all true. It works nicely,
Yeah.
so it's easy to say the nice things, right? Real quick, I have some more questions for you here. I want to address real quick. Some of you guys are asking laundromat specific questions. I will answer those. So if you do have laundromat specific questions, input those in there. So I'm trying to figure out who needs to be muted here. Okay, here we go. So do ask those questions, laundromat specific, but I'm gonna put them down towards the bottom here. So we're gonna talk geofencing, talk marketing here. But if you do have a couple of those laundromat specific questions that don't have to do with that, you can ask them here. I'm just gonna push them to the end. So don't think I forgot them, writing them all down. Okay, so somebody asked, what's a good radius, fence radius around a laundromat if you're trying to, throw a fence around the market? Are you doing precisely around the border of the laundromat? What's best practice there?
I think it depends on the demographics of the laundromat. Because if you're in, say, Long Island or Brooklyn, or if you're in Texas or you're in the Midwest, it's going to be different. If you're rural or dense, I mean, there's a lot to that
Sure.
to answer that question specifically.
Yeah, I would agree. Barbara and I actually do a few different versions of geofencing. So when we're going after your competition, we draw a very precise radius around the building. I mean, we literally outline the building so we can accurately measure who we took from your competition. But when we do geo-targeting, as Barbara said, in Brooklyn, we might do a 1.5 mile radius because, you have 60,000, 70,000 people, every half mile. So, and then, in Texas, you might have to draw a 5 mile or even 10 mile. Certain parts of the world, well, we'll stick to America for right now until someone brings it up, but for certain parts of the country, you might have to go out 5, 10 miles, depending on, as Barbara said, how rural and how far actually people have to go to your laundromat.
That's where all our expertise are, because we've been all across the United States now, and we've learned so much about the different areas. And we don't even live there, and we know so much more about them.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Awesome. There's some really great questions coming in, guys. Keep those questions rolling because this is, and I like, we're getting like ruthless down, like straight up Coliseum down here in a little bit. We're gonna get there. So this is a great question actually though. Is somebody asked? Man, I gotta keep remembering to check that waiting room. Okay, somebody asked, are we responsible for securing individual tracking data? What kind of data are we tracking? Do we have to keep that? Do we have to keep it secure? Do the platforms keep it, which we're going to talk about here in a second? How does the data side of this work?
So in terms of, the data is anonymized one. So the primary data is, who Barbara is, who Ernesto is.
We don't know.
That part is anonymized. We capture the device. But we report where your visitor came from. So at the end of the week, each client gets a report. The report says that discount on Maine delivered you 1 visit. Competitor, Suds Nation in Texas delivered you 5 satellite verified customers. So, it's the data is itemized, but the user is anonymized, and it's kept on our servers, but it's washed. It's actually called the clean room. So all the data is pretty much scrubbed in a clean room to make it legal, private, and useful.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean that the data, security and all that stuff is just so important for people these days of knowing what to do with that data and all that. So I think that was a really great question. Okay, can you talk about platforms? What platforms are you building geofences on? Sorry, somebody needs to be muted. Make sure you're muted if you're not. Okay. What platforms are you using geofencing on? Is it with Google, Facebook? How is that working?
No, we're outside the Google, Facebook, Instagram universe. We're on apps. So basically, it's when you open an app.
In-app or on a website. Yep. So in terms of platform, all of our systems are, and our methodology is proprietary, so we own it. We own the data going in and out. And then on the publishing side, it's called the demand side. So that's where we sort of we take your ad money and we bid to be on that local newspaper. We bid to be on those websites like TMZ, Telemundo, the weather app, where your customers can be found if they're gambling or reading sports. So we're bidding for that ad placement on your behalf. And because of our ad spends are so ginormous, we're able to help small businesses that otherwise would have to pay a lot more for access to this kind of technology. We're able to help small business do what the Chipotle's and the McDonald's and the
Starbucks.
Right.
And Google is more expensive to advertise on than what we're doing.
That's a good point. So because you're going head to head with Google, you're going head to head with your competition. With Google, everyone's sort of bidding to try and be on the first page, or at least first or second page. And that is a tough proposition, because if I know like so many of you out there are doing this right now, it adds up. It adds up at the end of the month, and you end up spending way more in the Google universe. I'm not saying don't do it, because Barbara and I believe in doing it. Just don't do it as a game of chicken, where you're like you're spending head to head with someone. Spend enough to have a decent placement on those platforms, and on both Facebook and the Google universe. Spend enough to have a presence. But no, we're not publishing inside of those universes. It's completely individual and separate, and that's actually what gives you the biggest value, besides being able to measure who's actually coming in. Your store is that you're not burning money in a game of chicken with your nearest competitors.
And you get a report saying, these are how many people came. So, I mean, that's awesome. What advertisement that you've done can do that?
Awesome. Yeah, great. And sort of kind of going along those lines, and you making the point that it's sort of outside of that normal ecosystem of Google, Facebook. Can you talk about ROI of geofencing versus social media marketing? Do you have any way to kind of compare the two?
Sure. Tell me the last Facebook post that made you, I don't know, 10 grand this month. So, I mean,
0 for me.
right. But Barbara and I now have a method where we take your Facebook post or your TikTok post or your Instagram post or your Twitter post or your Pinterest post. We're able to convert that into a geofencing ad that people can see as they cruise the internet, and then we can measure a conversion to your store. So, but again, I don't want to sound like we're anti-Facebook or Google or Instagram, because we're not.
It's just so what we do is different.
Yes, and what Barbara and I are primarily concerned with are getting people to show up at your laundromat, or if you have a pickup and delivery operation, our biggest concern is converting them as quickly as possible with the least amount of friction to set up a pickup.
And get those customers in your door. It's money in the pocket, not clicks, not.
We don't deal in. Yeah, Barbara and I, even though we actually measure the metric of clicks, that's obviously not our business. Meaning, we see a lot of reports out there, oh, this many impressions or this many clicks. That is, think about it, because we're all business owners, right? A click doesn't warm my heart, but a cha-ching does.
It's different. It's very
I
different.
like that. I
You
like
know what my
that.
favorite saying is, Jordan, if I might add, because you're in the Coliseum.
Okay, let's hear
If
it.
you win the crowd, you win your freedom.
That's it.
Win the crowd.
That is it, man.
Then
So
you're
strong.
He's
Yeah.
going in there right now after this podcast.
I'm gonna have
He's
to watch
running over there.
Cullari.
You better take a picture of you in the Coliseum doing that.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we
having
got a
a
high
lot of
five there, man. You guys are just having the time of your life. I
We're
love
having
that
fun.
right now. I'm going to skip down just a little bit because it's a follow up to the question, which is, and Allison brought this in, great question, which is, are the ads you place on the web and app, are they display ads? What type of ads are going out?
They are display ads. They can be at the top, they can be in the middle, or they can be at the bottom of your phone on your mobile app. And then we have native ads.
Yep. So that's the part Barbara and I get excited about, because, you know, the person who's on their phone like 4 hours plus a day would be more
The display ads.
yeah, the display ads, and that appeals to someone who would be a self-serve customer. But if we can imagine, you know, everyone in the audience, including ourselves, none of us would respond to a display ad. So we also have in our inventory native ads, which are dynamically derived, meaning we provide the creative, but say you're on ESPN and it has its own art direction, it takes the raw creatives and the copy that we give them, and it then puts our ad, the native ad, in the middle of a news feed that makes it look like it's
So
part of the
It
story.
flows. You're not missing a beat as you walk through, as you scroll through. It's just like it looks part of it, which is great because those are the ads that we will see
Yeah.
as
People who don't spend 4
Right, I
hours.
was on their phone.
I would love to, man. I would just love to spend, because
We should spend it in the in our platform, making sure our customers are getting their visits.
that is true. Our face is several hours on our platform, but not cruising the internet.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just furiously writing down all these great questions. I can't wait to hear what they have to say. So, first of all, thank you again for coming in. I mean, you're just like spelling it out for us, no matter kind of where we're at in our journey with geofencing here. So I love that. Thank you guys so much. All right, so I'm gonna scroll back up a little bit because I skipped a couple to get to that follow-up question. So the question was, what are the best practices for targeting a neighborhood with the combined effort? So you had mentioned like, hey, we recommend you utilize both online and offline marketing. So let's say they're doing like flyers, direct mail, whatever, maybe social media, and then also geofencing. Like, what's the best way to sort of target a neighborhood? And I mean, that's going to be a tough question for you because it depends. That's the answer to every question anyways. But you have any guidance there on how to use geofencing in this sort of comprehensive marketing plan?
Well, on direct mail, you know, we spoke about this in our first time together. It's really not cost effective at 89 cents a piece, if that's what you can get a piece of mail sent to do, you know, 10,000 homes. It's not really.
Especially in a dense area like California or like Los Angeles or any of those, it's not even worth it.
Right. But if you want to do with Everydoor Direct, if you want to do mail, just say 1,000 homes that you really targeted for, say, drop off or pickup and delivery, that would be money well spent. And then you can use geofencing to reach people, to literally reach everybody. You know, you could
That
reach
whole area.
250,000, you know, 500,000 people on a very modest budget. And then obviously, for social validation and verification, you should be doing your organic Instagram, organic Facebook, and to some extent TikTok. But I think there's some challenges there with I think it's edutainment, but I don't know that it has. I think for the future, you'll probably be able to reach a lot more younger self-serve laundromat owner in the future. Sorry, self-serve laundromat user in the future. But your high dollar pickup and delivery will convert more likely to a geofencing Facebook post or a geofencing Instagram post or a native ad than they would, say, display or even a piece of mail.
I think the Google and the Facebook and the TikTok and all those are great just for kind of getting that customer to be familiar with your brand more so. And then when they see the ads, on that app, they're like, oh, familiar. Like the main part about you want your brand, your laundromat, you want someone to say, oh, I know them. I know who they are. I want to go and support them, right? Because a lot of us, we all want to support small businesses, but we also want to support the small businesses that we know. So I think when you're combining these things in little bits here and there and with the geofencing, I think it just gets name recognition. And that trust. Because even with pickup and delivery for us, that is a trust factor. They're coming to your home. So you want to build that trust. And all these avenues do help with that trust, right? Self-serve, not as much trust as the other ones with the pickup and delivery and all those, but you still want trust. You still want to go to somewhere where you're safe. It's a family environment where the culture is welcoming.
Barbara and I always say that going after a pickup and delivery customer is more like a courtship, because they need to, as Barbara said, through validation, social media validation, and then through receiving the ad multiple times and getting to your landing page multiple times, they need to see that they can, have that trust, having you come out to their house, their condo, wherever they live, their apartment, and leaving their laundry in a bag, and then having you, not destroy it. One of our new clients, I forget whether it was in Vancouver or what other, it might be in Vancouver. They were saying like, yeah, the other outfits are just terrible. That basically they're coming in and they're being more trustworthy. That they offer a better alternative, and it's a courtship. So we need to make sure that we're getting in front of them on your behalf enough times to develop that trust. And in this case, a multi-pronged approach, and then using geofencing to sort of establish that consistency is super important.
Yeah, awesome. And I think that is where with the integration of the marketing side of things and how that they can work together. I mean, I think that's where Hey, Charles.
We got Charles and Joe Dan Reed just popped in.
Is that Joe Dan? Oh, hold on. Let me.
We have Joe Dan Reed and Kelly from Splash 'Em Out. And we have Charles from Fluff and Folds and Such Digital. Yeah.
Hey guys.
Yeah. Here, unmute for a second. I mean, these guys are also, along with Waleed, who's on here. I saw legends in the business. If you guys want to unmute for a second and say what's up, say hi. Oh, still muted.
That would be you, Charles and Joe Dan.
Yeah,
Charles
Charles.
having a hard time.
Guys.
We see Dom and Rocco over there.
What's up?
How's it going?
It's going.
We have Jersey in the house over there.
Yeah.
And Kentucky.
Joe Dan's store is over here.
You're at Joe Dan's store?
Yeah, Splash 'Em Out.
All
Oh yeah,
right.
there's these nice stores in Kentucky, of course.
That's right.
Yes.
How
Thanks
awesome.
for the support, guys.
Yeah, and these guys are clients of yours, right? All these guys.
Clients and friends, yeah. Charles was my campaign manager when I ran for U.S. Congress in 2012. And we remained buds.
That didn't work so well.
Yeah, it didn't work very well. Thus, I'm here doing the laundry.
That's
You
right.
that well, see?
Ernesto's been doing geofencing for me for a real long time. And even before that, I was doing geofencing at my stores. And Joe Dan uses all the geofencing on all of his stores.
Seen a major increase on the floor due to geofencing. Yeah, it works well.
Awesome. Well, we're proud to work
Talk
for
for
you,
you.
so we appreciate it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
For
Good
both of you
stuff.
guys,
I,
we appreciate
I
it.
highly recommend geofencing if you're not doing it with these guys because what's great is they do a market analysis before you even get started, and they'll say, hey, and then you have a big meeting and discuss what do you want to target and how do you want to go about it, and then they'll come up with a complete game plan with you, and you feel totally comfortable with what he's representing, and then sign up and go with it. I think we've really gotten a major return on our investment. What do you think, Kelly?
Almost definitely.
Hey,
Hey,
Kelly.
Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
But yeah, I think everything's it works. It's a proven. I was skeptical, and now I'm not. Now we've been going with it for quite some time now, haven't we?
Yes.
What, 8 months, close to a year, maybe?
Close to a year. Yeah, it's well worth it. How come Jordan? How come his background looks so much better than yours? Look at
God,
that.
man, I know. I like.
Use
I
some
just get
upgrade.
one upped even like when I'm so right now I'm in Rome,
Rome.
so I'm in my little Airbnb corner over here trying to keep my family away from here so they're quiet. But even when I'm in my like A game office there, it's just like not even close. I need to up my game. You're right. Thank you for pointing that out in front of everybody.
I'm used to looking for the monkey, and then the interview I had with you, I was in you were in a baby room.
Yeah,
And then
that's
the girls
true.
were watching
Nobody
yesterday.
puts
You had your
Jordan
shirt
in
off.
the
Yeah, at least you
had
have your shirt on
Yeah,
now.
thanks for having your shirt
That's
on.
right. Hey, I had shirtless Corey on, and he was like, "We got to do it shirtless," and I was like, "All right, we'll do it shirtless. That's fine."
I went to the gym. We were let's go to the gym.
Yeah, I had to do some push-ups before that one just to get a pump on a little bit. So. All right, guys, we got a ton of more questions to go, but Kelly, we need to have you on because Joe Dan, and then Charles is coming on soon. We're working that out over here.
I'm coming
Yes,
on.
sir.
I'm coming on.
That's right.
Awesome.
I love it. Well,
You, Jordan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Flip the script.
that's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it. Yeah, thanks for jumping on, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Okay, we've got questions. People want to hear from not you guys. They want to hear from Ernesto and Barbara right now. But also reach out to Joe Dan, reach out to Charles Measley. These guys, all stars of the industry. Again, Waleed is in here. What's up, Waleed? Again, this guy is a local legend also. So actually, he's an international star. I wouldn't even say he's a local. He's a star. So if you don't know those guys, get to know them. Okay, so jumping back into these questions that I've been jotting down. Keep those questions coming, by the way, if you still got them. Okay, so I'm not sure, maybe you guys understand this question. I'm not sure I understand it, but somebody said, so the customer needs to initiate. Oh, no, this one I do understand. The customer does not need to initiate contact other than they need to go within the fence, right? And that marks them, and then you can target ads to them,
Yeah.
at that point there.
Mhm.
So they don't need to initiate. There's no QR code or anything. What will happen is they'll get an ad delivered to them, and then you and Ernesto and Barbara will determine where people will go when they click on your ad, and on that landing page, you can put whatever you want. So the customer actually doesn't need to do anything to actually be marked and to receive your ads.
Well, I have one more caveat to add to that.
Okay.
So last year, we didn't have this technology, but we have this ability this year in the last 6 months where as long as they manipulate their phone and interact with your ad, they actually don't need to see the landing page. So for example, with stores like Splash 'em Out, which is Joe Dan and Kelly, and with Charles's Fluff and Fold, these are known entities in the community, and a lot of times their customer, because they know where they are, don't necessarily click on their ad to get to the landing page. However, in terms of the value of remarketing your own people as well as the neighborhood, when people merely interact with your ad, their device is captured and it's anonymized, and then when they show up at your laundromat, we're able to record a visit. So they actually don't need to get to the landing page.
If they know, if they know, why would you keep clicking? It's just that once they toggle it, we can follow them, which is great.
Yeah.
And we have, since when we started this to now, the technology has went from here to here now.
Yeah, it's,
All the technology that we're incorporating with AI and everything else, it's just amazing.
it does escalate. It has escalated fast.
Very
And
fast.
Barbara just gave away one of our, I feel like you're Joe Biden now, telling the Russians and the Chinese that we ran out of bullets. But
I didn't say what we used. I just said AI. It's only
okay.
intelligence.
Okay, so
Okay.
we can use AI for like keyword geofencing campaigns.
Oh, now you're trying to give it. Now you're trying to up me.
Oh, now I'm trying to be too.
No, he's staying quiet now.
Now I'm like a drunk Joe Biden.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry. So we do use AI in some of the things we do, yes. And it's
Awesome.
evolving all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of technology now that we have that we didn't have like 3 months ago. It's just, it's growing so fast that, lucky for us, we're willing to embrace it and try it and see what works, what doesn't work with our technology and our platforms. And it's just been, I feel like if anyone has ever been to Capri, and then from Capri you went to Sicily, it's grander. It's just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And it's probably just scratched the surface too. I mean, it's evolving all the time,
It's
so
fast.
much.
Fast. And if you don't catch up, you are, lagging. And right now for us is we've made a point that we're staying current and keep going for our customers.
Each week we meet with technologists to, we're not developers ourselves. We have developers on our team. We have Cullaris that are engineers. We have Wardells that are engineers, and computer scientists, data scientists. But in terms of ourselves, we have to we meet with technologists, both inside and outside the company, so that we can further educate ourselves and be ahead, kind of sort of future-proof some of the things that are even happening, in Congress with advertising. So for example, Congress, or not Congress, but these states, Washington State, Connecticut, and New York, just passed laws where you're not able to geofence hospitals, for example. So even things like that, we have to be ahead of understanding legislation that's going before Congress and the laws in each and every individual state and country that we operate in.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge reason why it makes a lot of sense to hire somebody. Yeah, this is something you could, I guess, try to do yourself. I'm sure there's YouTube videos and stuff, but staying on top of, number one, all the kind of legislative stuff, but also even beyond that, just the amount of changes and improvements and addition of new features and new abilities that happen all the time. Like, if that's your job, you can stay on top of that. If that's not your job, it's hard to stay on top of that and really utilize the tool for its effectiveness. So I think that's where you guys come in and are serving this industry really well in the geofencing space. Is that we don't have time to sit around and learn geofencing and stay on top of everything. You guys do.
Yes, that's what we set out to do, is bring it to small businesses and let them grow. Because if they grow, we grow, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Just real quick, there's a question. There will be a replay. We're recording this. It'll be up on YouTube by tomorrow. So you can definitely, if you got to bounce, you can check this out. And we'll also cut it up. So if you need a specific questions and you don't, have time to go through the whole thing,
Cutting me up?
you'll see
Wait,
that.
what? Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
absolutely.
I didn't agree to that.
It's just more of you. That's all there is. It's not like we're cutting you up into smaller pieces. We're multiplying you. It's going to be great.
Next year, Jordan won't even have us. He'll have our AI effigy.
That's right. I'm just gathering your data and your voices to be able to.
Right now.
That's right. That's right. That's all I'm doing. That's my strategy.
Language.
That's right. Can we get a little bit cutthroat? I know we've still got 15 minutes, so keep those questions coming in. But can we get a little cutthroat here for a second? I mean,
We like
again,
cutthroat.
I'm right down the street from the Coliseum, so I'm all about the violence right now, gladiator
Not
style.
into violence, just to let you know.
But Barbara
Slaying
does.
competition.
Slay.
Yes,
All right, we'll
yes.
slay. How about that? Here's a question that came in that I think is a good question, actually, but it is a little cutthroat, and I like it. Can you geofence a zombie mat's abused customers? So say there's a zombie mat, cross town or whatever. Can you geofence their customers?
Yeah, because we would do a foot traffic study of the mat, the zombie mat, and see where it was for the last year. So why not?
That's right. So we can go.
Simple.
Yeah, actually, we don't usually do it, but we can go back as far back as 2 years
That's true.
to understand it, and then we can focus your resources on those mats where you really feel that the customer is not being served well, and then we can literally drive them a roadmap to your location.
But the thing is you have a hurdle too, right? Because that zombie mat has probably most likely a bad taste in your customers' mouths, right? So it's about now building that trust factor to bring them back in. So you have to do a lot to get that customer back in.
Oh, you mean like, so you're talking about
Like a zombie mat, I'm gonna go out there.
No, you were referring to, and I guess maybe I don't understand the question, but you were referring to what happens when you buy a zombie mat.
Yes.
And then, we have to build that trust up again.
Yes.
So we actually had that happen to us. We won't say who it is, but we're handling someone's, their good laundromats, and we're sending them like 300 new satellite verified visits a month across their dozen or so laundromats. But then they opened up just across the border in another state. They bought a zombie mat, branded it the same way. And, I think we measured one satellite visit, which is very rare for us, in 2 weeks. So yeah, Barbara's right. You have to build
That trust, it's not instant at that point. And that's what, that's a learning curve for everyone. But once, that place, who knows what that reputation is.
the old reputation, yeah.
So we have to build that trust back up with the people in that area.
And that takes time, right?
Yeah, it does.
So that's when Barbara comes in and says, it might take a little longer than it took, say, the fluff and folds and the splash amounts of the world.
But we'll get there.
We'll get there, but it'll take a little time.
We're determined.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Ernesto was hitting on what I think the question was. So I think that's a great input for those people who are buying zombie mats. I think Ernesto was hitting on the question, which is, hey, my competitor down the road is a zombie mat. Can I target them to get them to come to my
Yes,
laundromats?
we-
Which is great. Yeah. Okay. This is the one I'm not sure I know what it means. Maybe you know what it means, or maybe if this was your question and neither one of us knows what it means, you can clarify. But the question was, does the waypoint have to be registered at the center point? Do you know what that means?
Yes, I believe I understand what they're asking. You can draw, so the geofence, you could draw it back, you could draw it very liberally, you can make that focal point much larger, the radius much larger. Geofencing is very precise and geo-targeting is very broad. So geofencing, so we have a client in Brooklyn, we won't mention his name so he can maintain his anonymity and competitive advantage, but we have a client in Brooklyn who asks us to draw the fence 3 feet off the street. The reason for that is because he says people would hang out during construction, and he just wants to make sure that we're only measuring, for the study, people who are actually inside the laundromat. So we could draw it very precisely. And then in terms of geo-targeting, so geo-targeting is, you're taking, say, latitude and longitude data or zip code data, and then it's a little broader, you could draw broader radiuses, and then you can onlay demographic information or like we can even measure what they're reading on the internet in a certain zip code.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. Okay, dude, amazing stuff. There's still so many really good questions. Okay, so somebody's looking at a potential location for a laundromat. And they're thinking about building it out there. There's a McDonald's, either being built or there's a McDonald's that exists there, does it make sense to geofence that McDonald's to see, to gather any data in order to determine if this is a good place to build out a laundromat?
Of course, that's one of the customers that would go to a laundromat. Why would you skip that?
And if it's a new location, that's a great way to identify. Barbara's right, because it fits the buyer persona. It fits the personality profile of someone who might use a self-serve laundromat. They're on the go. They want to eat on the go. They got to shop on the go. They got to do the laundry on the go. So if that McDonald's is proximal to your laundromat, it's definitely a great location. Pharmacy, ATM machines that are proximal to your laundromat are great. Even though
I got so much to do, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Mike.
Sorry.
he's got a lot of stuff to do. We feel you, brother. We feel you. Have a mezcal on us. So
Well, they keep bouncing out and then come back in, and every time they come back in, they
It's all
unmute,
good. I love it.
Yeah.
So anything that fits the persona, and even though a lot of laundromats are moving to just cashless and card, people still are in the habit of going to an ATM before or after visiting your laundromat. So Barbara and I geofence ATM machines a lot, and can do a foot traffic study on your favorite ATM.
Jeez. There's so many, and there's no, it's so cool. And there's more questions coming here that I think are just, people are thinking creative about how to use this stuff.
Let's see if we can speed answer
Answer them really quickly.
Oh, this is so good. Okay. Can you talk about pickup and delivery? Somebody wants to know, like, is this an effective marketing technique for pickup and delivery service? Can you talk about that a little bit?
So I'll try not to give away too much of the secret sauce, and even if we do give it away, it'd be hard for them to repeat, a competitor of ours to repeat, because they probably don't have the technology. But the pickup and delivery customer is not your self-serve customer. They're different personalities, and it's more akin to yourself. Think about how you guys would consume media and make purchases. So we're able to use the things that people read on the internet within a given geo-targeting zone. So say, for example, they're looking for meal prep, or say they're reading websites on food delivery or things like that. Then we know they have an affinity for household services to be delivered. So we're able to use the things that they read in a given geo, meaning the things they read online, in a given geo-target, a given geo-zone, and we're able to send them an ad to do pickup and delivery with you, and then we're able to track the conversion online. And they don't consume display ads. People like us that are highly busy, our eye is trained to ignore things like that, but our eye is trained for the minute you have our attention, when we're reading a news story, particularly about something we're interested in, our eye is trained on detail, and that's where native ads come in, or taking social media ads and converting them into a geofencing ad. So with a little experimentation in every zone that we work in, ultimately, we just gave you the future of how to grow your pickup and delivery business.
There it is. Silver platter right there for you. I think Mark Kinsey said it perfectly. Wow, that's amazing. Like, I'm blown away by like all of this. It's like simultaneously like exciting and a little bit scary, like how you just have so much power, you know what I mean?
Barbara and I did a mezcal for a mezcal company, Electrico. They came to us last minute because they were moving into a city. They wanted to do an event. And, we take the knowledge that we have in the industries we work in. We applied some of our experience from the laundry world. We applied it to a mezcal brand. And in 1 day's notice, we got all their ads up and running. And then in 5 days, we drove 64 visits on behalf of the mezcal company to the restaurant where they were doing the tasting. So, and those were using the techniques that we were just talking about, contextual things where people are reading certain, they're mezcal lovers, they're reading certain content within certain zip codes, and they've shown an affinity in it, they've shown an interest in it, and then we're driving it in real time, short term, 1 week 5-day campaign, driving
Is it amazing? It was so much fun.
and then we got to party. We actually drove 64 people to our own party because we got to host it. So
We got to taste the mezcal.
it was good.
It was really good. I mean, it's a little place that makes it. It's very unique and
In
yes,
Oaxaca, made without electricity.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Can you talk? Okay, so that's pickup and delivery stuff. I mean, can you talk about how effective it is? I mean, we've been sort of talking about this, but can you talk just briefly about how effective it is for self-serve and how geofencing kind of helps you grow self-serve? Just maybe a brief, sort of broad idea of that. That's sort of what we've been talking about this whole time, but can you make it succinct?
Sure. Each month we deliver over 5,000 satellite verified in-store visits to laundromat owners all across the country. By the end of the year, we think we're on track to deliver 10,000 a month, 10,000 satellite verified in-store visits to our laundromat owners all across the country each month. For a single laundromat, to be getting 30, 50, 75,
What the
100.
fuck? That sound should play in prisons. Like, it's not Hamish, believe it or not.
Oh, I think I muted you guys. Sorry. Where are you? Can you unmute or do I need to unmute you? Sorry. All right, here we go. I found you. Oh, you have to unmute. Can you hear me? You have to unmute on your side. Sorry, that was on me.
How's
Okay,
that?
is that better?
There you are. Yeah.
You missed my prison love reference. Anyway,
Let's move on from
there's
that.
no love like prison love. I don't know. I haven't been there.
Said we don't geofence prisons.
We don't geofence prison. So, for a laundromat owner who has a single store to do 30, 50, or possibly more than 100 visits, satellite visits a month, this is game changing. As I started out the answer to the question, each month, Barbara and I deliver over 5,000 satellite verified in-store visits to laundromat owners across the country. And our growth is so rapid that Barbara and I think we're on track to deliver 10,000, at least 10,000 satellite verified in-store visits a month to just to laundromat owners, not looking at any other kind of vertical that we deal with.
And that's only in the United States.
Yes. So now we're multi-country.
And we're not talking about that, but yes.
Yeah, she said she doesn't want to give away our tactical, what countries we're in, but
We can't
yeah, but we're,
now because we're working on it.
yeah.
Everything is new and we're
So cool.
authority on it.
So yeah, what Barbara's also alluding to is that each country, as you were saying before, Jordan, we have to do our research to know what the laws are in.
They're very different than from here and what we can do and what we can't do. So it's a learning curve.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, quick. This should be a pretty quick one, I think. Can display ads be short videos or are they static ads?
So because I make the ads, I'll answer this
You
one.
can go right ahead.
Well, hold on
I
first.
do know, but
Can I have my computer, please?
no.
This is
Make 'em
great.
earn it.
The
Make 'em
CFO is
earn it.
making me away from my computer. So we make this is a great question. So I think this is what distinguishes us from other ad agencies is that we're using HTML5. So they are moving ads. They're not GIFs. They appear like video, but they're not. It's actually HTML5. So they look gorgeous. They're gorgeous looking ads, moving text, moving images, but they're not video. It's HTML5. It's very light, meaning in terms of speed and when one of your customers sees your ad, it moves fast like a video, but it's not, and it's very light. So that means it loads on the page very fast. And your landing pages are built the same way. The landing pages that we built for you are very light and they're very fast, so that there's no drop off between clicking on your ad and then seeing a map that leads to your store.
You want less friction. You want that customer to go from one transition to the next very seamlessly. It's important.
That's awesome. Yep. I think that's great. And the visual and the motion not only is kind of where everything is right now anyways with video content in general, but it also, our eyes are attracted to movement and stuff. So I think that's great. Okay, so this has been asked a couple times, so I'm going to put it in here. Well, real quick, Mark Kinsey says, what company do you guys work for? So they don't work for a company, they are the company.
Right there.
Which is Cullari and Wardell, and that's what they are.
CW
and
ad agency.
.com.
We were just doing our promos before we signed on. It's CWAdAgency.com.
Love it. Definitely check them out. And I'll just throw in real quick right here is that we sort of have partnered here, and so the pro community over at Laundromat Resource. One of the perks of being in the pro community is that you get a pretty nice little discount. I won't say how much. Go to the website to check it out, laundromatresource.com/pro, just in case that changes, as this will live on forever. But go check that out, and I'll just say that it, will be worth your while to do that. So check that out, laundromatresource.com/pro, and you can, get a little discount over there. Okay. Let me hit that mute button. There you go. Okay, so here's the question. It's been asked a couple of times, and everybody wants to know, what kind of budget do you need in order to do this? Say I have a self-serve laundromat. What kind of budget do I need to have in order to implement geofencing in a way that's going to be effective?
Do you want to talk about ad spend?
That's basically the only thing we can tell you right now. We start everyone at $1,000 ad spend. That's your ad spend. We don't take a percentage. That is what we use to get your ads when we are bidding for those ads on those apps. But other than that, I really can't share anything else with you on that aspect.
Because it's individualized.
Because it's individual. It's stores, it's demographics. There's so much that goes into when we're having a consultation with a store. There's so many questions that we ask. Because we want to fit you in the right pocket for your customers to come in. So, but the basis is $1,000 ad spend. That is what we start with, everyone.
That tells us a lot. So that tells us, so we've had clients ask us, hey, can we spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month on ads? And to us, we start everyone at 1,000 because it tells us the algorithm that we're using, that we use pretty much all over the country. That algorithm is based on a lot of data, and we make a lot of assumptions based on the data that we have. So $1,000 will tell us that do we need to change our tactics, but we don't change our dollar amount yet. So our first threshold is $1,000, and do we get the kind of return on investment that we expect to see in a 30-day period? If we do, then we could increase our budget, and if we don't, we know we need to change our tactics. So, and we have Barbara and I have a lot of tactics in our arsenal, and that $1,000 really tells us, if we hit the nail on the head with these set of tactics. Now, in terms of our, hiring us and our exclusivity and our retainer, that is a different amount. It's based on the number of stores you have. If you're in a city or not in a city, because New York City, Brooklyn, and LA, we operate in Los Angeles. We're pretty much everywhere, but our exclusivity and how much we charge for a retainer really depends on how much work we're taking on. So that will fluctuate, which is why we offer free consultation.
Well, it leads to the question. Okay, let's say, all right, I'm interested. I can swing the $1,000. What's my next step to figure out? Okay, what's your fee going to be, and how much is my total kind of cost going to be? What's my next step? How do I book that consultation?
You go to the link in the profile for Laundromat Resource and visit us at CWAdAgency.com.
And make sure you're a member, because you get that discount. If you're not, you
That's
don't
right.
get it.
So Barbara is relentless about finding out if these people are actual Laundromat Resource
I
members.
did, and I told them if they wanted the discount,
They
and
had
they
to go
weren't, they
back.
had to go be a member.
They had to go back and be a member.
Because I had to respect it.
Yeah. So you get a free consult with us.
Yes.
And then you get a nice discount if you're a Laundromat Resource Laundromat Resource Pro member. So yeah, we give you a consult. We figure it out.
Yeah, we ask a lot of questions. It's about an hour. We know what questions to ask and everything, because all the data that we have, the more data we get from you, we can figure out your area, and then we do the foot traffic study. It just all melts into like a bakery with a cake. You know, you have all these ingredients, and all of a sudden it comes out beautifully. And so far, I mean, we're lucky. We've done an amazing job growing, and we love what we do. So we want to grow businesses.
And it's your cake.
Laundries, yeah, it's your cake.
It's an individualized cake is
Yeah.
what Barbara's saying. It's like, it's really, we take that time to really understand you. And then we have a kickoff after we sign you. Then we have a kickoff meeting where we take what you've told us, and we have the creatives and the landing page and the tactics. We present it to you, and we get your feedback before we go live. So it's a very holistic, hands-on.
Yeah, we handle everything ourselves with our customers. That's how we want to grow. You know, we talk to Jodan Reed and Kelly and you know, Ross Dodds, and we're always in communication. Some don't want us in communication as much. Some do. So it's
That restraining order is BS, by the way. It's hers against me. This is the first time we're seeing each other without plexiglass and a lawyer.
Thank you
We had
to
to-
HR.
We had to put a camera on it just to make sure everything was good. Follow-up question to the pricing question is, and this is my question that I'm asking on behalf of the people, is there a minimum amount of time that I should, like, let's say I want to go with you guys. I've done my consultation. I've signed up for Laundromat Resource Pro to get that discount, and I'm ready to go. Is there a minimum amount of time that I should be prepared to commit to make sure? Because I know this is part of this is all of marketing is a feeling out process, right? And it takes a little bit of time to really dial it in. You've kind of alluded to that. That's true for all marketing. So is there a minimum amount of time I should, you know, mentally prepare for that? I'm going to commit to X amount of time to doing this.
Yeah, I think 6 months.
Okay.
So you see a result right away, but Barbara and I, so that we can run this, which is now a global company, so we can run it without being in chaos, we have 6-month obligations. So will you see, in terms of self-serve, will you see visits in the first 3 days? Absolutely. We just signed.
The first 2 weeks, yes.
So we just signed, off the top of my head, was it part of Seattle, part of Salt Lake City, and what was that lake that everybody goes to in California? Lake Tahoe.
Tahoe.
So so immediately, you know, we're measuring results, and we're seeing pickup and delivery increases. But, you know, we try to run this company keeping the welfare of our clients in mind. And in order to do that and to support the resources that we've purchased, you know, we think a 6-month, you know, commitment is more than fair, and you see results right away. Yeah. So, and don't take our word for it. Take Joe, Dan, Kelly, and Charles's word. So.
No, I think that's fair. That's enough time for you to see the results, as well as see the compound of the results. And that, and I didn't want to go longer than that. I think 6 months is a really good view for you as a small business to see where you've started, where you're at that point.
And she's right. You know, I think, Jordan, you said it, 93% retention rate. I think I saw on your podcast the other day, a laundromat customer. So if that's true, if 93% is your retention rate, and each month, you know, we're adding to your bottom line, then in 6 months, buy me an Escalade.
He's
right.
trying to get that Escalade.
I need that damn Escalade. I'm tired of driving.
He's not happy with a laptop, Barbara.
I know.
You've created a monster. You've created a monster. All right, we've got a few more questions. I know we're already over what we planned to do, but you guys are awesome.
We're here for you guys. What do you,
look at that. Somebody already signed up with you guys today, right now. Look at that.
Oh, I love it.
Way to go, owner PC. I don't know who you are,
To know
but
who they are.
yeah. Way to go. We got a couple more questions though. If you guys have,
couple, I will give him his laptop.
Thank God.
Okay, good.
Sunday. No, I'm only kidding.
This is an interesting potential use case, and maybe you guys have done this or maybe not, but somebody asked this question. I think you've kind of alluded to this, but this is a very specific use case, and it is somebody who's doing a retool. Maybe they have to shut down for a retool, or there's construction going on and stuff during the retool, and they anticipate some customers going maybe to a competitor during that. Can you see how many customers you lose over a retool period and how many come back after that retool?
So through the foot traffic study, we can get a 2-year look. Just so we in this case we would go back an additional year because we want to see what it was before, and then we want to look at the last 8 to 6 months to see where it went, and then we can take those two graphs, that basically 1.5 year, 2-year graph, and then we can compare it to the data that starts to come in once we start geofencing your current location and your current neighborhood, so we can get the people back within the first 1.5 miles. And then we look at who your competitors were, we go aggressively after them. And then each week we get those reports to see, and then what your visitation is, and we can compare it to your last 1.5 years, 2 years. So yeah, sure, can be done.
Awesome. Okay, and then that's incredible, by the way, just to have that data, especially during a retool or something like that's incredible. Somebody asked, this is a very specific too. I'm not sure what the relationship is with Laundry Locker, but I forget who asked this question, but you guys should definitely reach out to them and chat with them. But they asked, have you ever worked with people in Laundry Locker? Sounds like they want to be able to show location owners that it's good to have the lockers at their, and if you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically for drop-off, laundry drop-off, where you don't necessarily have to have an attendant there to accept the laundry. People will just put their laundry in a locker. And then when your attendant does come, they can open those lockers, process that laundry, put it back in the locker, and the original owner can do that. So it sounds like they're wanting to be able to show, hey, these laundry lockers are good for owners. Is there a potential for geofencing to kind of help with that?
So we could do, if I understand the question properly, then we can do a foot traffic study just on the lockers, and we could show the kind of volume that the lockers get. So,
No, would that be
incredible?
the meeting? Yeah. Would that be at the laundromat, or is that in a building?
So usually that's outside the laundromat.
Outside the laundromat.
I mean, it can be other places too. Yeah.
I know there's lockers in some buildings, apartment buildings.
Oh,
that
apartments,
they have.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just wondering. If
it can be both. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the benefits of the lockers is that you can put them in different places for sure.
So we can basically do a foot traffic study on anything in North America. So if you have your clothesline out back and your wife is mad at you that she's doing all the laundry at home herself, and she wants to draw she wants to draw you a graph of how many times she goes out to the backyard to pull laundry off the line. As long as we can find it on Google Maps, we could draw a radius around it and do a foot traffic study on that. So whether you're looking to buy a business, sell your business, or assess a location, our technology allows us to do that. We can hand draw any radius and then do a 1 year to 2 year study on that.
Awesome. Do you guys work in Canada?
We do.
We absolutely do. We had Stefan, who was just
he was on here before.
Vancouver, British Columbia, who just he just zipped in from the Laundry Brothers. And by the way, they all have different mothers.
All right, Laundry Brothers from different mothers. I love that. This has kind of also been answered, but I'm just going to answer it or ask it, and again, succinct answer here. But is using geofencing useful for finding the right location to either build or purchase a laundromat?
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing else to say on that except absolutely, unless he wants to elaborate.
Oh,
but
he always wants to elaborate. This is what we know here.
I know, that's why I'm the short answers.
We'll talk in the car. But
if he's getting a ride home,
that's true. I don't even have my laptop. So you can do a study, and you get data. So you could do one on the left hand. We always do market analysis to understand what what's there, what's happening now, what's happened in the last year or two. Then on the other hand, once you start running your ads, you're getting data back right away. You're seeing what you pulled from your competition. You see what you pulled from your market demographic, from your dollar store customer, your ATM machine user, your pharmacy customer. So you get to see all that in real time, and then you can compare it to what we've already assessed in terms of foot traffic in your mobile trade area. So.
Awesome. All right, 2 final questions. One is a general question that I think is a really great question that really hasn't been asked yet. And then the second one's a very specific question from Mike B, which is also a very good question. So Masa says, oh, hold on. The focus in marketing plans is it mostly on businesses or families/individuals? Who are you geofencing? Who are you targeting in those geofencing? Commercial clients or residential clients?
So we have we were not going to mention his name, but our buddy in South Florida who introduced us to you. We're not just because we use the tactic on his behalf. So yeah, we can go after commercial business for you. Our recent development in the last few months, which is where we can tell what people are reading online, has informed us on how to target your pickup and delivery customer. We didn't have that last summer. We didn't have that at the beginning of the year. So we can use that tactic to go after your pickup and delivery people. And I'm sorry, help me answer the rest of this question, Jordan. I digressed a little bit.
Focusing on business or focusing on residential? I mean,
yeah, we can do both,
so
and
both.
We use different tactics within geofencing and geo-targeting to reach different people. And we have new tactics and technologies that we didn't have last year, and even in the last, even since we last saw you, we took on some new capabilities in terms of reaching, say, a pickup and delivery customer.
Awesome. Yeah. So the short answer is both.
Yes.
Both work. Okay. So Mike has a great question. Says averages about 50 customers a day, $7 a customer. That's about $10,000, $11,000 a month, give or take, of income. Is it worth investing $1,000 of ad spend in geofencing for somebody doing that size of business?
Well, how many turns does he do? How big is his laundromat?
Well, the answer, actually,
go ahead.
based on the question, if I understand this properly, if the value of a new customer for self-serve is $800 a year or more, and you're keeping 93% or 97% or say 70% of what we send you, and those numbers compound each month, then no, if that's all we ever sent you and they never came back, it obviously wouldn't be worth it, right? Because you'd never make your money back. But since you retain easily 70% to 90 some odd percent, and each month we're sending you a new batch of people, then while you don't make your money back the first month right away, even if you just ran 1 month and never ran it again, because those people are coming back and they're spending at least $800 for the year minimum, then yes, it starts to pay for itself from month 2 on.
Awesome.
And then when you consider the value of there's data out there, you can determine who the provider is yourself, but they've calculated that a pickup and delivery customer is worth $2,400 a year. So if we send you 3 to 10 to 20 to 30 to 50 to 100 your first month, then you tell me if
It's worth it.
if it's worth it. So yeah, sure. For self-serve, after month 1, you're making money, and then for pickup and delivery, probably from day 1, if we sent you 1 customer, you made your money. So
awesome, guys. This is, I mean, listen, my expectations were here, and they're off the screen. I mean, it was, you guys, so good, so much good stuff. And I love that you guys just came in and answered pretty much every question. That you didn't dodge any questions. You gave the numbers that you could give, and you directed them.
Is it dodge?
No,
no, it's the wrong place. No.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a question. No, I mean, you guys came in and just knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. I know that, everybody who showed up here and people who are watching this on YouTube later. So much good information. Again, Cullari and Wardell agency. What's it? CW. Say it again.
CW ad agency.com.
Yeah. So
we appreciate you, and we appreciate the graciousness that this industry has showed us.
Absolutely.
We love working with laundromat owners. You know, we feel that besides Barbara and her desire to buy 3, you know, we have a kinship. We're small business owners like all of you are. Money stresses us out just like it does you. That $1,000 actually probably means as much, or maybe a little bit more than it does to you, because we have our expectations of where that money, what it's supposed to give us. So we sincerely care about our clients. We have a high degree of fidelity. You know, we give you exclusivity when we're in your market. And you know, when you grow, we're excited, and when you don't grow, we're pretty bothered by it. It does keep us up at night. So, and we appreciate you, Jordan. I don't think people realize, like, I hope they do. The forum that you've created is just a master's degree in the laundromat industry. And there's others like, you know, Waleed, who is definitely another educator and leader. The Williford brothers, of course, and Joe, Dan, and Kelly. You know, they're out there educating people, and the Charles Measleys of the world. So
And Ross Dodds.
Ross Dodds.
Yeah,
See, we owe him.
Ross, yeah.
We owe him another bottle of wine.
that's right. Almost forgot him.
No.
So, and you know, Ross Dodds is actually a peacemaker,
Yeah.
and he brings people together.
Oh,
He doesn't
yeah.
care what your differences are. He just wants you guys, everyone, to prosper.
And getting along. And
Yeah, so we love and appreciate that. We're just grateful that all of you are so good to us. So we want to return the favor and help you grow your business as best as you can.
Yep.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys. I mean, you come with humor, great hair, humble hearts, and and willingness to just serve and answer questions. And you've been serving this industry well. Well, don't touch the hair, man. That's it. Laptop's out. You're done. You don't get it.
He's done. No son.
Mind you, I offered to cut the grass for her today because her son didn't do it. I offered to go there and cut the lawn just to kiss ass to get my laptop.
You are really working hard for this laptop. I say you give it to him at some point, but maybe squeeze as much as you can out of this. I'm going to close with this because Masa asked a question. I'm going to answer it for you guys so you don't have to answer it yourselves. When should we consider working with Cullari and Wardell right after buying a laundromat when we want to improve the performance or revenue? The answer to that question is you should want to improve the performance and revenue of your laundromat from day -1 and before that even. So I think now, wherever you're at, is a good time to reach out to them and start that relationship with them and make sure that, your business is going to be utilizing the tools that are available to you to grow that business. So I think now is a good time, especially if you're just getting started. It's a great time to do it. So thank you guys. Oh, Toronto, Canada. All right. Love it. They're international, I hear. So worldwide even.
Yep. Excited.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Everybody, thanks for joining and sticking around. Appreciate you all. And hey, we'll have to do some more of these. That was a lot of fun.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for coming out and, asking us questions and wanting to learn more. We really appreciate it.
All right, guys. See you later.
Bye,
Cheers.
guys.